Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm your host.
Episode 91.
91, I know, right? Isn't that far out? I can't believe we made it this far.
I know.
Hey, I'm your host, Chris Callen with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm joined by my co-host in studio, the lovely Heather Callen.
Hey, folks.
And reporting live from the road, Mr. Travel Anytime I Can, Mark Persichetti. What's up, baby?
Oh, boy. I'm one-handed it through Cincinnati right now as we speak. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, dude, poor Mark is like, he's been a road dog for the last couple of weeks. It's been off the hook, and he had to do Tennessee. Unfortunately, the Sprinter is down still. I'm still having Sprinter problems, man.
Oh,
The
boy.
end is in sight, though. The end is near.
Mark, you'll be so happy.
I'm starting to not like that thing.
I'm gonna put it up on the screen right now. We actually have a Mark in effigy sitting in your seat in the studio, holding down the spot. So everybody's rushing in. Russ and Deb are here. Russ, I hope everything's okay this week.
Deb, if that's you, don't ever give me a heart attack again.
Oh, boy.
Tim Kearns, damn, the number of lurkers is up. Jeff Kelderman, I ripped off 600 miles on the Indian today. Right on, man.
Nice.
Nice, yeah.
Oh, Tom Kiefer is in the house.
Mariah Bay Sawyer, hello from Kansas. David Hayes, I'm sharing. That's it, man. Remember, you guys, the way this works for us is share. Hit the share button, do the like thing, do the notifications, and you are required to be part of this conversation. This is not just a, hey, listen to us.
No, and David is super connected, by the way.
Right.
Like, he's like super connected, so thank you, Dave.
But I do want to remind you guys before we get started with a lot of the show here tonight, we are coming to you live through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys Studio. Russ Brown out there sponsoring so much stuff, keeping all this stuff alive, man. We appreciate them. We know you do. And we thank them for helping us bring the show to you. So, yeah, Mark, back to you. Back to Mark. Back to Mark, Heather.
Back to Mark. Mark, you're looking pretty sharp
Turn it
tonight.
over to,
How many hours out are you?
I'd really like to know what I look like.
Well,
So you changed me
you're
up a
very
little bit?
well groomed. You have a new Cycle Source hat on. All your teeth are in, and you have a clean
Good.
shirt on.
Headphones, glasses.
Headphones.
Well,
Glasses?
that's not, everybody
Yeah.
that knows me knows that's not me, so get that off of there.
Wait a minute, I gotta switch over again real quick so we can give everybody the look at what we're talking about. So Mark's still on the road. This is our replacement Mark. He's calling in. Bikers and babes across America. We just got that message in loud and clear in Boston. What's up, Tony? Right on, man. Thank you.
Go Patriots.
Hello, Boston.
Hello, Boston. So, yeah, man, hey, if this is your first time watching Shop Talk, we want to welcome everybody in our new audience at Choppertown. This is our third week with Choppertown. Incredible network that those guys are putting on over there. We're super happy to be part of the Choppertown family. Some really cool programs. And, of course, you know, the thing that started it all, Choppertown, the Sinners. Get out, check it out. Pick up the DVD if you haven't seen it. It's incredible. What Shop Talk is 120 minutes, 90 to 120 minutes anyway, of all the news and bullshit we can fit into a program about motorcycles, mayhem, and life on the road. And generally starts off...
Did you say life on the road?
Life on the road, man. Generally, it starts off with a little thing we like to call the news. First up in the news tonight, Women Riders Now founder receives prestigious Bessie Springfield Award. That's right, Genevieve Schmidt I'm talking about. Genevieve, longtime motorcycle journalist and spokesperson, couldn't think of somebody better to receive this award. She's literally dedicated practically her entire life, her entire riding life to women and awareness. I mean, you know, what she's done. She was originally the first woman to report from the seat of a motorcycle on ATV in '99. She was asked to turn around a fledgling women's motorcycle magazine, and from there she made her business to focus on bringing relevant and timely content to the growing population of women motorcycle riders. In 2016, she turned her attention to the internet and launched Women Riders Now, has grown to become the premier source for women and men who ride with them. So congratulations to Genevieve. Couldn't be happier for that. Like I said, man, anybody who does this job, this is a hard gig, man. So,
Dude.
like getting an
She's
award.
obviously done the legwork.
Right.
So, like, I knew it was hard work, and like I'm all for hard work, but nobody told me exactly how much hard work was involved in this.
Don't start
Dude,
now.
like seriously, Mark,
come
you're my
on.
friend. I've known you for a long time. You should have given me a much better heads up. That's all I'm gonna say.
I tried telling you. Why do you think we all drank so much?
No,
I mean,
actually,
where's this
I think
other
you
come up
thought.
with stupidity?
No, I know exactly what it was. You're like, yes, reel her
Run,
in. She can
run.
take some of the burden off of me. Hell yeah.
Hey.
You're like, go ahead,
Yeah.
little girl,
And-
go ahead.
And look, that didn't happen. So
Dude, it's like the part of
Come on.
Eddie Murphy's
No, I just
old,
sucked you in further.
it's like the part of Eddie Murphy's
Yeah,
old
right.
skit when he's like, "Oh baby, the house is so beautiful. The kids are going to be so happy. It's fantastic. A great school district. Get out. Too bad we can't stay."
too bad we can't stay. Yeah.
Oh, so hey, look at this, Chopper Town. Go Patriots. Heather's hometown team.
That's because I'm Chopper Town.
Carlos says,
I
"Don't
can't
forget to
say-
share my raffle, the Ringmaster 1958 pan shovel getting raffled to go to his page, Carlos Amador. Check it out. It's all set to fund Carlos's new build."
Well, and
And that's a
unfortunately,
good
for
thing.
those of you that don't know Carlos, the reason he's doing that is he suffered a fairly devastating stroke last year, and he's been out of
did.
work since then because by trade he's a welder, and unfortunately none of the big companies will take him back on until he's medically cleared, and he's been having some significant issues over the past year, so he's really just trying to get by, and mostly because he doesn't believe in GoFundMe's and handouts. He wants to make sure somebody gets something for
Right on.
for what they're doing. So
He obviously is working his ass off. So
Yeah, he
good
is,
for him.
boy. You see the effort he's
Yeah.
putting into that new bike. Incredible.
yeah, this is a real cat here. You know, he knows how to stand on his own 2 feet. That's for damn sure. For what he's been through, and then still to be doing this and promoting himself through it.
Yep.
Good for him. I wish him all the best.
Dan Hartley, what's up, Chopper
And
Town?
I-
Hey,
and I
Chris and
wanna
Heather. Yeah, and you want to win. Look
Yeah,
at
I
this.
want to win it. So, you know.
Katrina Trollsved, hello from Sweden. Right on.
Hey,
Dennis
I like
Stauber,
Swedish fish.
right? Good evening, watching from Marengo, Illinois. Man, I love the fact that you guys are putting up where you're from. I love that. Love the
Yeah,
audience all
right
over the
on. Me
place.
too.
So let's get back to the news because we got a lot of great guests tonight. Bonhams comes in with this tonight. The Holy Davidson. Apparently, this custom motorcycle signed by His Holiness Pope Francis to bless the Bonhams Autumn Stafford sale, donated to the Pontifical Mission Societies and to be sold for charity. You can check it out right here. The 2016 Harley Davidson 1570cc custom cycle, white unique, estimated at 50 to 100,000 pounds. There's not a lot of information here, believe it or not, about who built it. I may have missed that part of it, but you can see His Holiness here with a bunch of dirty old bikers hanging around. And the first thing that I noticed is apparently the Pope shops at Lowbrow too, because that tank, that's straight out of their catalog. Right? So, hey,
Yeah, for Miracle and a lowbrow ad hit the floor.
well, somebody at Lowbrow, that's CYCLESOURCE magazine that you can make the supporting check out to. No, man, but seriously, it's pretty cool. I mean, I guess to get a chance at a bike signed by that man himself is pretty
That's a
cool for
big
a lot
deal.
of people. Yeah, so we'll be watching out for what that
That's
actually
what
goes
I have
for.
like 500 one-liners for this that are all going to get me in trouble.
I know.
yeah,
Like, no matter what you say right now, it's like, you shouldn't have said that.
right
So,
on. Cam
I'm gonna be
Torrey.
like, "Ooh,
I just stepped on you, Mark. I suck. I'm sorry.
that's all right. I can't even hear myself or you anyway, so we're all good.
So I get so excited about all these new people coming. Cam Torrey, first time visiting the live show. Love the podcast.
Right on.
Thank you, Cam. And I'm happy to say we're actually caught up on that.
Yep. So, hey, listen, I'm excited about this news. Aquaman actor Jason Momoa is in Milwaukee to visit Harley Davidson for the second time this year. Now, we're still trying to get Jason to come on the show and talk to us because he's an avid motorcyclist, and obviously slightly at his expense, we're having fun with this story. But there were a lot of headlines about this, believe it or not, like actually flooded the news
greatest
network.
headline I saw, and I should have put that one there, was, "Can Aquaman save Harley Davidson?" I would let him save me. I mean, just saying.
My first question is, are they coming out with like a jet ski or something? You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, listen,
I'm
after the live wire, who knows, right? I mean,
yeah, right. I mean, hey, it's cool that the guy's taking the time out to try and promote it or make it happen, though, I guess. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
and like I said, I mean,
So-
from people I know that know him and that you know, Mark and Heather,
Yeah. Yeah, right,
he's an
right.
avid motorcyclist. So it's this has nothing to do with him. We're just a little tongue-in-cheek busting balls. So speaking of the live wire, though, and moving over to that, this in from Web Bike World, the youths aren't buying the Harley live wire. October 8th, they reported, let me guess, price. Harley-Davidson's new electric livewire was supposed to usher in a new era for Harley, one that wasn't dominated by sales to older riders. However, so far, the folks who are interested in the livewire enough to actually buy it are pretty much what you've come to expect from Harley, old wealthy guys. Now, this is according to a report by Rudders. Most of the guys and gals buying the livewire are older riders and people who already own Harleys. Livewire is supposed to be the kind of halo bike for the company's new vision. This means it's more expensive. However, that excludes the kind of riders Harley claims it wants to attract. You know,
I have to say,
I think they're trying to tell the old guys to lend the young guys some money. That's what I'm buying out of that. You know what I mean? Hey, buy this bike for me, dude. It'll look great.
that's what's up, Pap.
I think overall that was more of a statement that most people that pay attention to motorcycles in this industry expected. It wasn't really this is breaking news.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, hey, by the way,
We were
this
right.
is really what's happening. And
We were right.
I mean, I don't know many people in the demographic they're trying to sell that to that can afford a $30,000 motorcycle
Hey,
that goes 150
I
miles.
think the whole time you were saying that, he should have just kept behind you saying the same thing. Yep, yeah, we were right. Mm-hmm. We were
Yep.
right.
agreed.
It's a shame too, because they're putting so much. Yeah, right. They're putting so much emphasis on trying to change their demographic.
Hey,
Dude,
wait a
run
minute,
with
though.
What you got? They're spending money.
Wait a minute, though. Cam Torrey, how long has it even been available for? 3 months? Give it a few years here. Now, I'll agree with you for that, and for
Yeah, yeah, good point,
for one reason only, it's going to take 3 to 5 years for the infrastructure to catch up to that motorcycle. It's going to take that same 3 to 5 years to answer the questions about battery durability.
Will
and,
it handle? Yeah, how's it going to handle?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean it's. So yeah, it's
No,
still in its infancy, but it's just the irony we were pointing
Well,
out.
and I do think that for some reason, people seem to think that Harley Davidson thought this was their saving grace and their Hail Mary.
Yeah.
I think it was just their attempt to diversify and break into that
Modern,
electric market
yeah.
because there are, like, Kawasaki is starting to work on them and Honda's working on them and everybody is following
BMW.
suit. Yeah, so
Hey.
Yeah.
it's not.
So let me break in here for a minute because Dan Hartley's asking, what did you do with Charlie? I'm assuming, Dan, that you're a Chopper Town fanatic. Charlie still has his show. Charlie has his show. Gina Woods has her show. Everything's still good on the Chopper Town front. We're just an addition. We're glad to be here. We thank the guys from Chopper Town bringing us on, and we hope you dig our program too, man. We work with Charlie and Gina on a bunch of other stuff, so they're not going anywhere. You can continue to tune into their shows at their regular times.
Yep. Jason Sims, I have yet to see one on the showroom floor yet. How can they know the stats? It's a
Yep.
it's a valid point.
What's that?
I mean, they're not even available everywhere yet. How can you know the stats of a live wire?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yeah, like he had a good point with saying you got to give it a little more time to make a decision. But I think
We just wanna be
like
smart
we've been
asses.
talking about. Yeah, well, we are.
No.
That's besides the point. If we weren't, we wouldn't be here right now. You know what I'm saying?
So moving on to some news that I think is really cool from Car and Bike, and in this month, Royal Enfield returns to racing after 54 years with custom 650 GT. 2 custom Royal Enfield Continental GT 650 bikes called the Knot T we're prepared. The bikes are 18.5 kilograms lighter and boast 26% increase in performance. Now, all through this article, I had yet to find a place where it mentioned what racing, where, what organization. The bikes look cool as hell. You can see from this picture, it's obviously going to be road racing, but when we get more information about this, we'll absolutely let you know. Mark brought up the best point of all about this news, though, was the fact that if they're racing, this is for real. Royal Enfield is not screwing around with the GT650s.
Well, I think in general you see Royal
it's cool,
Enfield.
actually.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's cool that they're actually back to competing. That means they're gonna keep themselves going, bring some more stuff out, offer some stuff. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Right, and I think Chris saw, and I kind of saw that writing on the wall when we were at Bonneville last year, and we saw them there with a team from SNS.
Yeah.
Out on the salt flats, and you knew they were getting real serious. And then Chris just rode the Royal Enfield 650 GT. That was the Continental 650 GT, right?
Yep.
And you were highly impressed with it, and you
really
wanted to
was.
dog that bike so bad.
Yeah, I did. I mean, because, for so many years, man, like at least a decade more, probably. Everybody had an upcomer story. Here comes the new this and the new that, and Yamaha tried to make a cool little chopper, and Honda was trying to make a cool little chopper, and everybody was trying to get into the market. So, being a journalist for 23 years, I'm a little bit skeptical when something's coming in to light the world on fire, and especially like when you think about the last release of Royal Enfield, I wasn't impressed at all. So when I heard that this bike was so revolutionary, I went to it with a skeptic's eye, and I wanted to hate it. I wanted to find a bike that was cheaply built and plastic and bullshit and underpowered, and I didn't find any of that, man. And I mean,
Do you think maybe because of the last shoddy attempt, they're pushing even harder to make this one an actual, market?
Probably.
Product?
Probably. I think Tim Kern said, "Did you notice Mark's lips don't move when he talks?"
What's that?
Tim
I'm
Kern.
a ventriloquist.
So, I mean, I believe it absolutely had to do with that, because a lot of people, like Pat Jansen was one of them, took one of those bikes and made a cool chopper out of it. But, at the end of the day, it wasn't a fantastic ride, because it was severely underpowered. And I think, through that whole round of things for Royal Enfield, I think they got a real handle on what the U.S. market was. They got a firsthand lesson in it for sure. And when they came back with this product, man, I mean, there's no screwing around. And you add that up with companies like Triumph, what they've been doing with the Bobber and everything.
I mean,
like
Bobber.
Ducati's Scrambler and bikes like that. I mean, there's some serious efforts out there now, and especially with the change in demographic. We're always talking
two sexy
about
motorcycles, actually.
Yeah, and we're talking about how to reach out to the youth market. And I mean, these bikes are coming in at a completely different style, and they're cheap. And like if anything, that's going to do it.
The monetarily, that's going to help them nothing but huge.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, you see, with that live wire, they're just these kids can't afford that. On top of the fact they don't spend their money. I mean, they don't. So they won't buy a car, let alone a motorcycle, let alone an electric motorcycle like you said, Chris, that has the the potential to be a real flop in a year and a half. They don't know.
Absolutely.
So.
And it's not, I don't even know that it's that they don't want to spend the money, but like I know our kid alone, when she comes out of college, she's going to come out with about $75,000 in debt.
And that's with us helping.
Yeah, there is no money.
And that's with us helping a little bit. So, I mean, they don't have the money to spend right now, but that GT Chris rode out of the door, it was $6,000.
Yep.
With a 3-year warranty, like it was a great starter bike. That's an entry level motorcycle.
No, this was the GT 650.
What's the live wire up the door?
30,000.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yep.
For $30,000 at this point, some of them kids that think, hell, I'll buy a beat up old house and I'll have something to live in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's how a lot of these young kids think now. So, which good for them, because maybe maybe they are looking at it in a different aspect, because. Dude, me or Chris, I know we would have spent somebody else's last $2,500 on a bike to put together. So you know what I mean? We didn't have it either. We were like, hey, buddy, you want to buy that for me?
What's up?
So
So, hey,
Yeah, what's
Excuse
up?
me.
I want to remind you guys one more time, we're coming to you live from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio with an episode of Shop Talk. This is episode number 91. We do this every week, every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go live with another episode, some entertainment, some news, some guests, all the bullshit we can fit in 90 to 120 minutes. Little thing we call Shop Talk. We're going to do 2 minutes of business for the show, and then we're going to come back with you guys, and we're going to move on to our first guest. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Shop Talk.
The Sportster treatment's a kit I've been developing over the past few months. It basically eliminates just over-engineered wires that go into a stock Sportster. That eliminates all the handlebar controls, bank angle sensor, bows, all the stuff you really don't need to make your bike run and ride. The Sportster treatment kit comes with the master harness that eliminates all the other wires. It comes with a key switch, it's 3 positions, it's bump to start. Comes with a 3-position toggle switch so you can have high beam, low beam. It has the wires for your headlight housing. It has the key switch mount. Everything you need to basically eliminate all your other wires.
So you guys are killing it tonight with the social media comments. We can't even keep up with them, but I do see my boy Xavier Muriel was in the house, and Xavier, we want to have you and Robert on the show next week. Xavier has some big news that he wants to announce. I hope that he can make it next Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want to have you on to actually announce this live. Get a hold of me after the show. So I think...
Carlos has a good question.
Go ahead.
He wants to know who the special guest is going to be for the 100th episode.
I know. That's our good question, too. Mark?
Taking suggestions. Open to suggestions.
I don't know. When I have to think about that. That's a good one.
It is, right? 'Cause
I vote Jason Momoa.
100. I can't believe it's 100. Oh, yeah, I know you vote Jason Momoa.
Put your pants on.
Yeah, right? Who's
Who's pregnant?
Who's pregnant?
Not
What
me.
did I
That's for
miss?
damn sure.
No.
No.
Xavier's not pregnant. No, it's other news. Jesus.
Xavier's having a baby?
No.
See, this is how rumors get started.
This is like
right here.
telephone. No.
Isn't it fantastic?
All right, so I guess it's that time of the hour. We're going to go to our first guest. Our first guest is no stranger to anyone in the motorcycle world. He's built some of the baddest bikes on the planet. He's done some of the coolest shit through his career, and his most recent endeavor is a little thing called Sons of Speed. Has absolutely been killer. This year in Biketoberfest, it's going to take a little change, and we're going to get him on the phone right now and see if we can't talk to him about it. Ladies and gentlemen, next up, Mr. Billy Lane.
Hello.
Billy, what's up, man?
Hey, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
So, hey, congratulations. This Biketoberfest, actually, marks the 10th race of Sons of Speed. Am I right about that?
It's the 9th race.
The
March.
9th, I'm sorry.
Yeah. March will be our 10th race.
But I mean, even at 9 races, I cannot believe that it's been that many. So it's like so fast. Time is going so fast, dude.
Bro, I can't believe we pulled the first one off. I still can't believe that.
Right? So the big news that we want to talk about, what's the difference about Sons of Speed in Biketoberfest?
We're racing at night, which is a first for us. I mean, we've been wanting to do it, but the cost of racing under the lights is kind of high, and which is a scheduling thing, but we're racing at night, which I think is going to be kind of a cool deal because it's so hot during the day to sit out there and watch the races for a couple hours.
Yeah. I think it's going to be fantastic, dude. Like, I think, honest to God, that's going to add a whole other element to this thing, too.
Yeah, I think so. I think
now
so.
I really want to go. we were talking about not going. Now I really want to go.
Yeah, Mark's in from the road tonight.
Mark, I'll tell you, I mean, I say this to everybody. Anybody who's never seen it, once you go see it and you walk away going, man, I did not expect that. I said it myself the first race. I left after the event and I said to my wife, I did not expect that. And it's changed so much, but I mean, it's really great to see. It's such an awesome event.
Well, and this is the whole thing too, man. I mean, and I don't even know, you've always been a visionary. You've always been ahead of the curve. You've always seen things coming from miles ahead. Yeah. But the thing that you also created here was not even just because Sons of Speed itself is a direct look back in time, without a doubt, like it being at that track. And I had told you before we had you on the show where I said, I really didn't know how cool it was going to be. I was sitting there wondering, I'm like, man, the bikes don't really go that fast. It's a great big track. But when you got there, it was like, oh my God, this is like such a priceless thing that you did.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's fantastic.
But then on top of that, there's a whole lifestyle and community that has been created around this thing at the same time that I don't know if you saw all that coming. I mean, from the magic of your shop and the people showing up at your shop and the stuff that's happening in the pits. I mean, this is like an entire other part of this thing now.
Yeah, Chris, it's like a subculture almost, I think, of the bike culture because, and I didn't see that either. It's a family, I mean, everybody who comes in, they're immediately welcomed in, and thank God we've had no assholes yet. And, everybody comes in and everybody welcomes everybody else and helps everybody else out because it's so new and it's old, but it's so new and so different to everybody. Nobody knows what to expect. So it's kind of, it's just different. I mean, it's a different experience, and that's why we wanted to do it. It's a chance to come to Daytona and do something different that you haven't done before.
No, it's fantastic, man. And I mean,
the thing I like about it is that everybody that comes there to race is not only there to compete and to win, but they're all friends. So everybody's there to enjoy being with each other on top of experience.
Yep.
Dude, you've created a whole new realm you brought back a realm that has been forgotten, and you actually turned it into something totally badass.
Yeah, a guy or a woman will beat you in a heat, and then you go out the next heat and cheer them on, and on their next heat. It's that's what it's all about. I mean, it's just so amazing. I'm just happy to be a part of it. I don't care that it was my idea and I created it. I'm just happy to be a part of it. Because there's so many great people involved, and I'm gonna someday probably be doing something else or not be here at all, and people are gonna keep doing this, and we're part of creating that subculture and lifestyle for people to enjoy.
I think having the opportunity to talk to a lot of the people that race with you, Billy, one of their favorite parts about it has been actually the time leading up to the race, that week before in your shop, where they're all working together and they're all scrambling to get their bikes ready and they're sleeping on the floor and they're working around the clock.
Helping each other.
So far, none of them would take that back for anything.
Yep.
So the fact that you've been able to give them that along with this event, kudos to you.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. I mean, that's a big part of it for all of us, and especially for me because I'm not a racer. I'm not an event promoter. I'm a fabricator and a mechanic, and so the time in the shop to me is what I cherish the most. And that's key. I moved out of Daytona, but we bought Arlen Fatlin's two-wheelers building on Main Street, and that's going to be our new headquarters where everybody kind of comes to hang out.
That's awesome. So no, Billy, you
but
just
if
said
nothing else, you're driving your passion make everybody want to be a part of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. Like, what you brought to the table is just, you've given everybody the opportunity to relive something. And, dude, you've killed yourself. And, like, what an amazing job you've done, you know?
Yeah. It really is. It's comes from the heart. You know, when I decided to do this, I've been wanting to do this for over 20 years. The time was never right. And I finally got to the point where I said, if I don't do it now, when am I going to do this? And what am I going to do? Become an old man and die and not have lived my dreams? And so I'm lucky that my dream has become a lot of other people's dreams too. And that's what, it's so pure and raw. And that's what makes it so special.
Yeah.
Right on. No,
Well,
like,
it's cool. I think it's awesome.
Hello. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I heard Heather say something. Yeah.
sorry. No, I was just going to say, so like you said before, you're a builder and a fabricator. What was it that made the time right now where you said, I am going to do this event? It's time for me to get this going. Because that's a huge undertaking. I mean, it's not like you're just hopping on a bike and you're running the race. You're securing the facility and the insurance, and you're the promoter for this. What made you say, I have to do this now?
Well, it's derivative of what we were talking about, from being, pure and from the heart and out of passion, is that I've been doing bikes my entire adult life. And, when I got into it, it was just kind of starting to really climb and grow, and it became a huge, enormous thing. And the industry has shrunk. And I started saying, what can I do to help our industry? Not for myself, not what do I see a bottom line, how much money can I make, or how famous can I make myself, but what can I do to help the bike industry, to help the bike weeks that are struggling? And I was like, Daytona Beach was right here close to where I lived at the time. And it started with racing. How about we bring motorcycle racing back and race antique motorcycles that, you don't have to go out and, and buy off the dealership for $40,000. And so it was really like, how can I help the bike industry? How can I help for myself do this for the next 20 years, but also for young guys and women who want to get into it? How can I help them say, yes, I'm going to do this because there's a future in it? And so that's where it really came from.
Well, and this is a big thing, Billy. I want to mention, like, the comments are crazy on social media. Everybody's talking about, you and when they remember meeting you. And, Carlos Almador says, I remember being a little kid in Miami hearing about Billy Lane from my uncles. But the one comment, Jerry Skotsky, he says, wonder if they've checked out Barber's Motorsports Track in Bama. And we're not saying that, this is a completely new thing. Like the AMCA and a lot of the antique and vintage swaps have had racing. What's unique and special about what Billy's done here, I think I can say this, is the fact that he's brought that into the modern day rally realm, doing this,
right? Like
he said, bringing racing back to Daytona. God, Daytona racing on the beach, like that's what started that whole rally. So bringing that stuff back and making it part of the mainstream and giving regular rally people access and exposure to stuff like that, that's what's amazing about this.
Exactly. I mean, I know people have been racing antique bikes and board track stuff since far before I got into it, and I know I didn't revive it myself, but I wanted to do exactly what you said, put it in front of the general public that's into custom motorcycles, that comes to the rallies, and say to them, hey, there's something else to Bike Week besides, crawling from bar to bar and, going to bike shows. Give them a different taste of it. And I think we've accomplished that.
Yes, sir.
So now your race this year is Friday night, October 18th. What time is it at?
At 6 p.m.
6 p.m. New Smyrna Speedway, correct?
Correct.
All right, awesome. I threw a link to tickets. If people want to grab those, they're in the comment section.
You will not be disappointed in the time spent at this thing, man. Like I said, it took me back to being a little kid. Like I saw in my mind when every time I stand around that track, I see in my mind, the old days of like the snow fence motocross style track with the old snow cones and stuff, man. It took me straight back to being a little kid watching motorcycle racing again.
The vibe is fantastic,
Yeah, this is nothing fancy. It's not, blitzed up by sponsors and promoters and all that kind of stuff. It's really, truly raw motorcycle racing for people who love bikes. And it's really geared toward the spectator. I mean, we want people to come out and see it. The ticket prices are low. and we want them to come out and enjoy it and say, I'm really glad I went to Biketoberfest, and I'm really glad I went down and saw Sons of Speed and saw these people that are, pour their heart and souls into motorcycles. I mean, because that's what it's really all about.
Absolutely.
So for the people who may not be as familiar with it as we are, can you give them the age range and the classes of the bikes that run and roughly the speeds that they go? Because I know the first time I went, I couldn't believe how fast they were going.
Sure. So we race 3 classes of bikes. We race 2 board track classes, which are, bikes that were raced on wooden board bank tracks from, really 1909 to 1930. So we're racing bikes that are in that era, 1909 to 1929. And there's, 61 cubic inch, 1000 cc twin cylinder bikes. And we have 2 classes. There's like stock class, which basically means stock engines. And then there's a Hot 61 class, which is modified engines. And the stock class, those bikes are going probably 70, 75 miles an hour, which is very fast on a half-mile oval.
Yeah, buddy.
And then the Hot 61s are going in the 80-mile-an-hour range, and they're getting faster every event. And then we also race, 45-inch Harley and Indian twins from, the early 1930s to 1950. And those bikes are really fast. I mean, those bikes are going in the high 80s, getting into the 90s on the straightaways on that oval. And I'll tell you, anybody who thinks it doesn't sound that fast, I don't care how good of a rider you are, you get on a board track bike and go 70 on that track, it will scare your pants off. It's so fast at 70. It's unbelievable.
Hey, and that's just the going part. Like when something on one of those bikes, when something goes wrong, like we've seen some pretty hair-raising situations here and there on that track in the middle of these races, man. And that's plenty fast when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah. None of them have any brakes, and then the board track bikes have no brakes, no clutch, no gearbox. I mean, you literally, your engine is directly linked to the rear wheel. There's no way, if anything happens, you're at the mercy of the motorcycle, and so it takes a lot of guts just to ride one. And I'm telling you, I mean, when you 70 on that track, looks like it's about 125. It's unbelievable how fast those bikes are going.
Well, Billy, listen, while we have you for a minute too, I want to talk about, you had just mentioned how you moved from Daytona Beach to Nashville. And can you give everybody a little bit of an update about what goes on with Choppers Inc., what's happening next with you? Because you shared a little bit of that with me the last time we talked.
Sure. So we've we have 3 little girls, and we really enjoy living in Daytona, and it's great for being in the bike industry, but for raising kids, we chose to move to Nashville because it's just awesome community and schools for our girls. So that was the reason we've moved. And so we moved in June. I'm still moving the shop, but
oh, dear God.
it's a whole circus there. But I'm still building a lot of custom choppers. I have 9 custom choppers that I'm building right now. People say choppers are dead. I'm like, not at my place.
No.
Right.
And I'm doing some of the races for people, and and really just trying to do what like I said earlier about what it's going to take to bring the bike industry back. Maybe not back to where it was, but back to a really healthy place. So I'm doing a bunch of stuff, a YouTube channel right now. All the stuff I'm doing at bike events, rallies, our races, and then also a ton of shop fabrication stuff, trying to show people how I do what I do, and like a kind of a different way of doing it from what you might see on TV, because I don't have all the expensive machinery and a staff of people helping me. I'm kind of one guy in there with some tools, but making it happen for over 30 years and trying to show people that if this is what you want to do, you can really make it work. Because if I can do it, other people can.
Dude, how heavy is that? How heavy is that just to hear yourself say that over 30 years?
I know.
Right? And honestly, like just a minute ago, we were kids doing this shit.
I know. I remember saying not too long ago it was over 20 years, and like, wow, I can't believe I've been doing it over 20 years. And it's over 30 years I've been doing this now. It's hard to believe.
So now it's been over 30 years. You've moved shop. You're doing Sons of Speed. You're building custom bikes. And you're a dad to 3 little girls, all under the age of 3, right?
The fact that you have a hair left on your head is amazing.
Like, that's a handful and a half, Billy.
Yeah.
And more
And
power
I'm
to
married.
you. I
I'm
mean,
married. That's the biggest challenge right there.
Yeah, we know that.
Why didn't I leave Tennessee and go to Nashville and do via satellite from Billy's shop?
I have no
because
idea.
we're not that smart.
That would have been
Yeah.
that would have been a great idea.
It would have been. It
So
would have been.
No, I think this is an amazing time. I'm really excited about it. Not for me, but I mean for everybody. I mean, I think things are going good in our country. Even though the world's effed up, there's still a lot of positive stuff going on, and I'm just trying to be a positive part of what's going on in the bike world. I mean, I have these girls. I can't go back to dancing in a strip club at night to support these girls. It's just not going to make it at my age. So I gotta stick with the bike thing, So I have to make it work. And I say, how do I make it work for myself for 20 years? And how do I make it work? If I can do it, I'm not the greatest at any of what I do, but I'm good. And so, hopefully I can kind of pave a way for other people to come in and say, this is what I want to do for a living, like I did when I was a teenager.
Right.
And live their dreams. Not everybody can make it work. That's the fact. But I did, and
right on.
that goes a long way.
No, man, and that's mad respect for you too, because that's part of arriving at that 30-year place and saying, okay, well, I've been here and I've done this. Now, what can I do? What can I do for it? That's mad respect.
So when
Because it has done everything for me.
Yeah.
Everything.
Right. When you started this 30 years
that's
ago,
dedication factor right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dedication.
yep. Oh, without a doubt. When you started this 30 years ago, did you think it would take you on the journey that it has? Like, did you set out for this?
I had no clue. When I got into it, there was no fame, there was no TV, there was no even attractive women around motorcycles. It was a whole different scene. I mean, and I truly got into it. There was no Facebook, no YouTube, no eBay. I mean, there was just nothing. And I got into it because I truly loved it. And I met some really great people. Yeah, I love great people that I met. And I'm like, man, I respect these people. I admire them. I love the bikes. This is, I think, what I want to do. I had a college degree. I had a great job, over 80 grand a year at 24 years old.
What were you doing?
Well, I had a job offer from Lockheed Martin.
Oh, wow.
Right when I fresh out of college. Yeah, awesome job. And I got hired and, got the letter, and I thought it over, and I was already doing bikes for several years at that point. And I told my parents, I said, I think I'm not going to take this job. And they said, are you out of your mind? And, and I said, no. And I mean, at that time, everybody thought I was crazy because you couldn't make any money building bikes. It was, but my timing, it'd be like being Bill Gates in the 70s, I mean, making the right choice at the right time in your life. I mean, it's just, I'm really, really, really lucky, very fortunate,
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
It is outstanding. I just want to interject real quick. Amelia, our daughter that's at Penn State right now, probably listening to the show. This has nothing to do with you. You stay your ass in school and you get a job for what you're going to school for. I don't care what Billy Lane says.
Yeah, I'm riding the bus, Amelia.
Oh.
That's funny. No, but listen, brother, seriously,
obviously he made the right decision. So, for everybody out there.
And good for all of us too, man. I mean, because really, Billy, in the time when the motorcycle thing shot through the roof, you really, really showed people what we were capable of. How much more this was than just, people raising hell on motorcycles. You showed them what we're about.
Yeah, and I didn't even know I was doing it then. I was super young and naive and didn't really know what I was doing at the time and didn't know what to expect. And I mean, looking back now, that I know I've told you this, Chris, before, but guys that were 12 watching me 15 years ago, are 27 now, or they were 15, they're 30 now, and it's like I didn't expect this far down the road for them. They're in the workforce, they're making money, and they're relating to it.
The shows with choppers they built,
how many people, how lucky are you when people come up to you and say, you don't know how much you inspired me?
Oh, they're all saying it right now.
Right.
I mean,
we're so many people are here and doing this, or even just riding because they did see you 15 years ago.
It's the most humbling thing in the world. I mean, I have people come up and say, hey, my kid, didn't know what he was going to do, and he became an engineer because you went to engineering school, or he became a welder because he saw you on TV. And I've had so many, men and women tell me, I watched you and became a welder or a machinist because of you. And I'm so proud to hear that, because I mean, it's, that's
Right.
when you can, use your brain and your mind and your hands to make a living for yourself and support your family. I mean, that's just what I'm doing. And that I help somebody else make that decision and choice it's really fulfilling.
Yeah, Xavier Muriel just piped in. He's the reason that he's building. You're the reason he builds today.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, Xavier! Yeah, he's so good.
He keeps blaming that on us too. Like, we all carry that burden, Billy, and I don't know if we should be thankful for that or not, or have.
He's so good.
He is.
His first bike was better than like my 25th bike. You know what I mean? Like, he's such a natural. It's amazing.
It's funny too, dude, because Mark and I met Xavier and Keith like forever and a day ago. Yeah. And we every time we would be in one of the towns where they were playing a show, or vice versa, they'd be in our town, we'd go and hang out with them a little bit. And it was funny because Keith pushed Xavier to start writing for the magazine and doing stuff, and I remember calling him up one day, and I wanted to talk to him about his writing and stuff, because he's such a good writer. Like, he does it from the heart, just like he builds bikes. And I called him up and I said, "Hey man," I said, none of us care that you're the drummer from Buck Cherry, right?
He was kind of offended at first. He was like, "What?"
He was like, and I said, no, don't take me wrong. I said, that's cool. I said, but like, the thing that we see in you here is that passion, man, and that drive. Like, you can't sleep thinking about this shit. Yeah.
He's a guy who's, I think once you master one thing, you can master a lot of different things once you've learned the art of mastery. And he's such a good drummer. I mean, if I could play drums that good,
oh my God,
I would push my toolbox out to the street, light it on fire, and then push it further out to the street. I mean, that's how good he is at playing drums.
Yep.
And, and for him to say, I'm not going to do this anymore and go on a bike, and he's so good at doing the bike thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And a good person.
He is a good
on top
person.
of everything else. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for being on with us, and we wish you all the luck with the races, not just this one, but moving forward. Please keep us in mind. Can you tell everybody where they can keep after you and Choppers Inc. and Sons of Speed?
Yeah, we're follow us online at choppers.inc on Instagram, and Billy Lane's Choppers Inc. on Facebook, and obviously if you're on Biketoberfest, come down and see us in New Smyrna Speedway on the 18th. We have tickets for sale on sonsofspeed.eventbrite.com, and obviously they can see me right here on your show. Hear me out here on your show.
Right on, man. Thanks a lot for coming on, Billy. I appreciate you taking a break out of a busy schedule.
Hey, thanks for having me on, and I appreciate you guys always supporting what we're doing.
All right,
you always have our support, Billy.
See you soon.
All right, love and respect. All right, take care.
Take care.
So awesome, dude. So awesome to see that. I mean, like, forever ago, when Billy was still doing all the crazy bikes and the TV stuff, like, I would have these little side conversations with him where he was telling me about researching how to pour Babbitt bearings, and he was into the old bike stuff the whole time. It was just like completely undercover.
So one of the things I like about...
He just didn't wake up and this happened. That's for damn sure. This is all something he's worked at for years.
Yep.
Right. One of the things I always liked about Billy was kind of like Hav, and I didn't realize it until you said it, was when we told Hav that, we don't like you because you're the drummer of Buck Cherry. I've only known Billy within the past couple years. So I didn't know him when he was on TV and, everybody was clamoring for him. I like Billy because he's always been kind and genuine, and he's just a good man.
He's a good conversation.
And he's always approachable, and it's not because he's Choppers Inc.
Right on, man. Well, we have just a couple minutes here before we go to our next guest. I think we're going to do that break thing one more time, and we're going to do a little bit of business for the show. But don't go anywhere. We're coming to you live from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio, here with an episode of ShopTalk on this Sunday evening. We appreciate you guys joining us and putting up with our bullshit. Get your chats in, get the shares going. Like I said, we'll be back in 2 minutes with another guest. Stick around, don't go anywhere. This is Chop Talk. man. That was insane. Excuse me.
Settling in after a long desert ride, we circled around by the campfire side. As stories and tales began to unfold, Troy Lee had a story that had yet to be told. Somewhere on the outskirts, off Old Route 66, way off in the distance and out in the sticks, it's said there's a spirit with an unfulfilled need, possessed with the devilish desire for speed. Octane and oil once coursed through its veins, vicious power taut pulled on its chain. Cloaked in black fabric of fiber and bone, he's a lost, lonely rider from somewhere beyond. Smoke fills the desert when he's out on a ride. Lightning and thunder right there by his side. He could be waiting around the next bend. This demon of speed might just take you, my friend.
For more information on the products listed in this video, click on the link in the description area below. Feel free to call us with any questions or place an order at 800-969-7501. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe for all of the latest DK events, videos, and promos.
So I got to give mad props to the guys from Dennis Kirk real quick for one of the coolest commercials I've seen in a long time. Like that whole Halloween story. Look at me stretching out. I'm all unprofessional tonight. The guys from Choppertown are going to be like, why did we get involved with these losers?
That's all right. I've been wanting to issue an apology all night. So I caught myself on screen, and I had the worst RBF ever. It was so bad.
So just explain to people what RBF is.
Resting bitch face. But just so you know, like, I'm not disengaged. I'm trying to read and respond to everybody's comments, and they're coming in so fast that I look all serious and
this
like,
is the
it's so
thing.
awesome.
So you guys understand, this is what it looks like here. So I'm working on this computer. She's working on a computer over here. Mark is coming in through this computer up here. Like this is not like a great big production thing. This is us.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. I look fantastic right
You
now.
do.
You do.
You know what I'm saying?
You do. Like
I look great.
you're slouching a little bit. Hang on.
So, but yeah, no RBF. Yeah, no RBF intended. I dig the hell out of the show. I dig the hell out of everybody that's watching. I'm just trying to keep up with your comments and engage everybody.
God.
So
It's so crazy. And again, we can't
Thank
thank
you, Rich.
the guys from Choppertown or our Cycle Source family, man, because you guys have been keeping us going for 2 years here, quickly approaching the 100-year mark. Or 100-year mark.
100th episode. God, I don't want to be 100 years old.
Yeah, I can't make it to
Because
100 years.
no, Billy, 30 years was a long time. Hey, that sucks because I was sort of having a little bit of a hard time hearing him, but like that was cool. Like to let him know that to bring back some of that old stuff that people have forgotten about. It is just pretty badass. I mean, you can't give him enough credit.
Yep.
So just love that fucking dude.
So
And you know the cool part about it is you guys are gonna get stuff to get fuel with me.
Hey, so listen, I'm gonna bring a sneak guest in on real quick, and we're gonna break some news, but then we're gonna talk about it again next week when we have him on the show. But let's see if we can get this cat on right now.
While he does that, Mark. Oh, have you seen what you look like tonight? Has Dana showed you?
Wait. I can't hear anything you're saying.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Xavier Muriel, we were just talking about you.
He was watching.
A lot.
I know. I was over here grinning from ear to ear and turning beet red all at the same time.
Wasn't that great?
Dude, what an honor, you know? I mean, just
seriously, to have someone you respect as much as I know you respect Billy giving you the props like that was pretty cool.
That is, I mean, that's just as great as like Tommy Lee standing behind me, watching me play with a bottle of Jägermeister in his hand, going, "Yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah." You know, I mean, and Heather's right. It is. It's a threefold thing. It's all you guys' fault. It's Billy, you, and Heather. So, yeah.
So when Tommy Lee was behind it, did you say, "Is that a bottle of Jaeger? Are you just happy to see me?" I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh no, yeah, no. He would just look over at me, and he'd have his fedora halfway down his face where I couldn't see him. And he's standing there with his baggy pants and his, just being Tommy, he's such a sweet, sweet dude, man. And he'd just be like, yeah. And then he'd just walk over and start pouring it on me. It wouldn't even go in my mouth. It'd just be like on my hair, and I could always count on him, standing right behind me every night during that song, every night, and I kept thinking, man, come on, man, it's Tommy Lee. He can't be, isn't he tired of this yet? Nope. There he was for 7 months right behind me, so it was cool, man.
That's awesome. So I'm going to bring a picture up, and, we were talking a little bit about when Mark and I first met you guys, and the time that I've known you, I've been super lucky to be at a bunch of your shows. One of my favorite musicians to watch perform, because this cat performs with his entire body. And you can see it in this picture right here, man. Like, you just getting
put so much heart into it, it comes out of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
No T-Rex.
That's fat ass is what that is. You're throwing it down right there.
And it's really funny because I don't know any other way to play. I mean, I've literally played, and coming from a guy who, obviously grew up watching and emulating a bunch of the guys that, blessed enough all these years later are actually guys in my phone. They all came from the kind of same school of just, you have to put everything you have into it, and I did a lot, and I never took any formal lessons. I think I took 2 lessons in my life, and I walked out of both of them because it was just like, I don't want to take this booklet home and go pop, 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 pop. I was like, man, I want to play, Kashmir and Red Hot by Motley and 2 Tickets to Paradise by Eddie Money. I didn't care about the lessons and the rudiments. And now, all these years later, I'm like, oh yeah, I probably should have paid attention to that shit because it was probably necessary. But I remember when I blew my.
It wasn't. Look how far you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They're all for a reason. I mean, yeah. I was in Denver. I was in Denver, Colorado, and I blew my left bicep muscle, detached it completely from my arm. And when I got back to LA, I happened to be hooked up by a really dear friend of mine to the surgeon and doctor for the Anaheim Angels. And he walks into the room, and the first thing he says to me, he says, "What's behind you when you play?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And there I am with a sling, my muscle is all pop-eyed out, and I'm in pain. He's like, "What's behind you?" And I go, "What do you mean?" And he had literally downloaded a picture of my arm so far behind my head. He's like, what's back there? He goes, "This is why you have detached your muscle from your arm."
As you're saying this, I'm bringing up pictures of you where you literally look like you're reaching backstage for a beer.
And my tour manager always used to say, he'd go, "There's Xavier. He's coming over the Indian Ocean and he's crossing the Atlantic, and there he lands."
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I'm really blessed because I grew up in a household that had a lot of music. A lot of music with soul to it. My brother was listening to rock and roll on one side, and my parents were listening to Latin music on the other. So anything I ever did musically, I did with a lot of passion. And again, the drums are an outlet for physical, and if it wasn't for playing drums, I probably would have been in jail a long, long time ago. Because it's great, it's a great outlet. And then I kind of felt like the more I put into it, the more the crowd got out of it. And those are things that I learned from the masters,
Wait, now, social media is clamoring.
So
wait, I gotta put this up like this. Social media is clamoring. They want to see the bike that you built. because like Carlos Amador here is saying, I can't believe Xavier is a rock star. I thought he was just a builder. And then there's other guys that they're like, now show a picture of the motorcycle he's built. Now here it is up on the screen right now. That's your most current build.
That is Grace.
Yeah, that's Grace.
Beautiful, beautiful build for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Couple comments real quick.
Yeah.
Kurt Green, and this one I have to share with you because we all have high regard for Kurt. He's one of the best leather workers out there from Bare Bones Leather. But he just wanted to pass along that you are one of the nicest dudes he's met in the industry, and he loves your work.
Wow.
That's from Kurt.
Right on.
And
You know, that type of stuff, man, that speaks more than any kind of what other, you know, that to me right there, it makes it all worth it. Because, I mean, again, if it wasn't for the fact of being inspired by Billy way on before I was even the drummer in Buck Cherry, and then not reluctantly not wanting to take the opportunity that you presented to me, I mean, I wouldn't meet these people.
Don't you blame this shit on me.
Dude, it is you. It's you and Billy and Heather and everybody else who went, no, you can do this. And I was like, okay, maybe I can. You know? But, I mean, getting to meet guys like that in the industry, I mean, that's the coolest part of it. Now, again, we're all humans, and there's some people that, you know, aren't really like that. But the ones that you do meet like that, you gravitate to, man, and you stick to. And I'm really grateful because I get to meet I've met so many awesome people in rock and roll, and I've met some pretty big fucking douchebags as well. But like even in the bike industry, the motorcycle industry, the guys who love it and take it to heart for what it really is, those are the guys you kind of gravitate to because they get it. It's not about the hoopla and the accolades and all this and all that other crap. It's about two wheels and you know, and the guys that, you know, that do stuff like that. They're such amazing craftsmen. That guy is amazing, dude. Like, I never tell him anything. I just go, hey, this is my idea, and I go run with it. And he comes back with some stuff that I'm like, wow, where did that come from? You know, he's like, well, do you like it? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I had to drop my pants. You know, come on.
Okay, so listen, how many years did you sit behind the kit with Buck Cherry?
I was with Buck Cherry from 04 till 17. So don't make me do the math. I don't know how many years that is.
One of the greatest things about being your friend and as close as we are, we get to talk all the time. And one of the things that we talk about are the parallels of the motorcycle business and the music industry.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Because I have, you know, some music and stuff, like I'm so into both of them, and I know that, like, you know, this time that you've been focused so hard on your career building, you know, there's been a missing part, and that's we want to have you and Robert come on next week and talk about this at length. But we're gonna take 2 minutes right now and have you let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah. So you know, again, like you said, we share two common, super common passions, which are music and motorcycles, and we love them dearly, both. And we've always talked about it, you and me, about how we wanted to, you know, put some stuff together and maybe do a jam for fun, not for money, not for anything other than just a bunch of dudes getting in the room, a bunch of dudes that like each other and love to make music with each other. And you've come down and jammed with my singer Robert and I here in Austin and some stuff, but now we're really going to do it for sure. So myself and Robert and you and Rob Keller and Jake Sherrard, we're going to be playing at the Lone Star Rally on Saturday night from 6 to 7:30 on the main stage downtown.
Hell yeah.
Sangerfest Park, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna do it the right way, man. We're gonna play some great tunes for the love of just playing music together on stage, you know.
Yep.
So it's gonna be so awesome.
It's gonna be rad.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
super excited. Yeah.
And that's such a great event in the first place. You have to add that to it. It's going to be off the charts.
Yeah. So, I mean, come on, talk about it, man. We got like a weekend full of motorcycles and shows and awesome stuff. And then we get to get up on stage and rock out. That's just going to be like the capper, you know?
Yep.
So awesome.
Totally
and
cool.
like, and I've seen everybody that's going to be in this with band
Project. There you go.
Before.
Yeah.
And I may be partial because, I'm married to one of them, and
she's sleeping with at least one of us.
At least one of you guys. I mean, come on.
Only one.
Only one.
But man, you guys are all so good, and to have you all together, like Robert, your vocalist.
Oh my
good God, he is amazing.
Yeah.
And I've heard some of the songs that you guys are going to be doing. I can't wait.
Yeah.
She's heard some of the songs we've.
Let's not leave out Rob Keller. I mean, Rob
yeah.
Keller is a seasoned,
And here's the
amazing guitar player.
Yep.
The coolest thing about this is you've got guys from all over the country that are literally going to get together in Austin, Texas for 2 days, put it all together, and then 2 days later go and rip the stage up in Galveston.
Yep.
And I'll say this: I talked to the promoter the other day, and I was having a conversation, and I basically said, "Look, I'm not really sure if you can trust what I'm telling you, but you should probably know that all of the members involved in this are very serious about this, and we don't take this as just another gig and another cover situation. It's an event. It's a rock and roll show." And I said, but at the end of the day, let me just quote Steven Tyler. We're just going to let the music do the talking, and then we'll talk about the rest of the year in 2020. And I left it at that.
Yeah,
so, I'm super stoked, and I'm super honored to be a part of it. And my three guys here in Austin and your guy there on the East Coast, Chris. I mean, everybody is excited, dude, and that's why we did this in the first place, bro. It's the same thing about the bikes. That's why we got into it in the first place and started ripping stuff apart and trying to figure out how this works. And hey, do you have this wrench? And blah 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 blah. Because it was exciting and it was fun, and that's where we've gotten back to. We've actually come full circle in both areas. Of just like really enjoying it for what it is, not letting it get like just affected by all the other crap that's out there,
So the name of the band, and you guys will see a bunch of stuff coming out about this, and I'm sorry to take this part of the show to kind of plug something that I'm involved in too, but we're working our asses off for this, so I'm taking this opportunity.
Hell yeah.
The name of the band is Black Smoke Sinners, and what our goal is to put this group together, and since Xavier and I are always at the motorcycle rallies and shows, the other three members of the band also are lifelong riders, and we're making a motorcycle band.
Yeah, and hopefully the long term idea is to do the rallies throughout the years, and make it a cool thing. And since we all ride, we all get to be there. So
damn, cool. Xavier, we picked a name too fast. Jack shit just came in with Trunk Monkey. Oh, we blew it.
Well, tell. Hey, Jack. Jack, we'll use your name, but you got to give me the knuckle.
There's a deal.
He always thinks I forget about the knuckle. I haven't forgot about the knuckle, Jack. Come on.
All right, cool.
Jack could use his tagline: make motorcycle event music great again.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, all respect for everybody that's out on the rally circuit playing. Like, what our whole mission here is to go to that third or fourth or fifth song from the band that never gets played at these shows, and blow people's minds with it. You know what I mean? To where they go, oh my God, I haven't heard that in forever.
Yeah, that was the big thing that you and I and Rob were always concerned with, is like, everybody can do those songs that everybody else does. And granted, there's a time and a place for that. But we wanted to do the songs where somebody goes, holy crap, I forgot about that. And oh my God, they're kicking its ass,
Hey, look, Chris Summer-Simmons just said, don't tell Pat. I'm going to say this right up front. The minute Pat is in a town where we're playing, oh my God. Listen.
Oh, yeah.
I would take money out of my sock drawer to get Pat to come on stage and play. That would be so badass.
You know what? Hey, listen, I'm putting it out there right here, right now. If we know so many dudes, and I'm not going to say who they are, but they know who they are.
Call them out. It's okay.
No. They know who they are. I want them to come up and jam. I want them to come up and jam.
Let's
because
do this.
I think there's a lot of dudes that love music just as much as we do, and for whatever reason they decide not to or whatever. But That's what I'm talking about. Just having an event where like 3 or 4 different dudes get up and play some songs, because everybody would go, holy crap, I had no idea. Well, of course you didn't, but now you do. You know, so
I am driving to Texas with one of them.
Right.
There you go.
So,
yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So,
you know.
Put the
next week,
on it.
I will. I'll call them out next week. Trust me. I'll call them out next week.
Right.
So
Right on.
I totally hate to do this, but Mama H has to come into play. Okay. We're 15 minutes late for our guests. So Xavier, get the hell off the phone.
All right.
Absolutely. Leave me alone. I love you guys. I'll talk
love
to you
you
soon.
too. We'll talk to you next week, man.
Later.
So that was even news for Mark. I even kept that secret from Mark today.
Yeah, well, you couldn't keep talking to me all day long because I had no service.
Coming back from Tennessee. So how was Loretta Lynn's ranch, though?
It was cool. The event was really badass. It was a really nice, close, tight knit event. Everybody pretty much knew everybody, and the people that didn't were welcome with open arms. It was cool. The music was great. We were right on the river. There was fires every night. It was cool as hell. I mean, I enjoyed it. You know, on top of the fact that getting to see people that usually when we go to events we don't get to hang out with because we're doing so much stuff. But you know, to be able to sit down with, I mean, but as you know, the other half of my motorcycle group was the lead sled guys, and to be with Pat and Jeff Fording and Jay brought a pig and roasted a pig there, and Chad, Pat's nephew was there, and just the whole family, Jen and Cher, and it was awesome. I mean, to be able to see them, and Brian Elliott and the Big Randy from the showcase was there, and God, let's do a shout out to him.
Yep.
Thank God. Let's hope he feels a little bit better. He was having a little medical issue there, and I really I wish him the best. I know he was having some trouble. So,
well,
but
we're gonna have
the invitational.
We're gonna have a proper.
Bill Dodge just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, he did. Boy, the pictures coming out of there were incredible, dude. Well, we're gonna have a proper recap on the show next week. Next Sunday, we're gonna go over a bunch of the stuff, show you a bunch of the bikes from the BC Moto Invitational in Tennessee. Mike Draco's asking, was attendance down? Attendance was about the same. They got some shit weather in the early part of the event, but man, what they brought to the table was incredible. So we're looking for great things from Tennessee next year.
Cool. It was good shit.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, hey, man, we are a little bit late. I want to apologize to our next guest, but we're going to go to the phone lines real quick here now and see if we can bring up Shelly Martin from Bikers for Boobies.
Hello.
Hey, Shelly, this is Chris with ShopTalk. I'm so sorry we're late.
That's okay. That's all right.
We got run on a little bit and lost track of time.
He gets a little excited.
But thank you.
It was a good conversation.
Oh, it was. It was. It's always good to talk motorcycles and music around here.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to listen on this end as well.
Well, we're super fired up to have you on. You know, we've been exposed to the good work that you do for a number of years through our relationship with Jack Shit, and especially having you on in this month, and you know, getting ready for the event and everything. It's great timing. So, tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Okay. Well, first, let me just say thank you for this opportunity. It's very nice of you. And so, what we do, Bikers for Boobies, it's our 11th year. And we have a poker run throughout the valley, and so there's 5 stops, and then we have the after party at Dirty Dog, and we raise money for not only breast cancer but for all types of cancer. And there was a young lady, actually, I'm just going to go into a quick story and keep going, but she was 15 years old and she had bone cancer. And I went and met her, and we donated our hair, 5 of us, in honor of her. And then she passed away, and so we donated it again in memory of her. So, we reached from 15-year-old young ladies, all the way to 60 years old, men, women, and we do it for all types of cancer. So we can raise money. We have a grant program, and I meet every single grant applicant myself.
Right on.
Yeah, and it's, I get so much out of it as well, but, sometimes people just need to talk, they don't have anybody to talk to, and sometimes I'll sit there for a couple of hours, but, so it's nice to know that they feel like they aren't fighting alone.
Right on. So first I want to say, number one, thank you for your patience. Number two, it's such a pleasure to meet you. And three, I have to tell you how much your reputation precedes you, because I've met so many people in this industry, and so many people have so many wonderful things to say about you.
Yep.
Oh.
People in Arizona and Texas and Sturgis, and you are so loved by the motorcycle community for all the hard work that you do, because it's Bikers for Boobies, and it's so much more, and you've truly taken on so much to better this world and better society and help others. Where do you get the energy?
Oh, help people with this cause help people just with this disease that causes. It's amazing. I mean, I know my mother and my sister both have had breast cancer, mastectomy, the whole 9 yards, and the people like you that support them, it's huge for those people that have it. So, it's awesome to know there's people out there to help people that we all love,
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Well, congratulations, because you got me teary-eyed, and we've been on for like a minute and a half. I don't know. I mean, it's my heart, so I feel like when you live and breathe it, then, it doesn't take anything. You know what I mean? It's your time, and everybody should make time, I feel. Because they're warriors.
This is a big thing for these people, that when they think they're down and out, there's nobody there to help them. There really is, and you don't even know these people. You just do it out of the kindness of your heart, which, like I said, for the families of these women is just, it's awesome. It means so much to the outside people, not only the people that are going through it, which gives them even more support. So it's pretty awesome.
Well, I think one of the biggest things to say here too is, like, everybody knows that the motorcycle community has a tie to charity, but immediately they want to get the picture of somebody strapping a teddy bear on the back of a bike and going to a toy run and getting stupid drunk. This kind of work that goes on, this community direct, because you know who you're doing this work with. You know who needs what, like you said, sometimes it's just that they need some time. But this is community direct stuff that you're doing. You're not just blindly casting money out under the banner of breast cancer. I mean, this is direct people to people kind of work.
Correct. And we don't one of the best things I feel for our organization is that we don't give people money. Right. So I tell people, we have medical and survival grants. And so they can give me their bills and we take it to the board, and then we pay those bills. And sometimes I have to go down personally and pay them, but so we don't give money. We give gift cards to the grocery store or gas cards, or we pay bills directly.
I think that's outstanding.
Yeah, and what was one of the things that shocked me, I guess, is that I was in Vegas for their bike fest a few years ago, and there was a gentleman that came up to me and said that he had breast cancer, and at the time I didn't even realize that men got breast cancer, right? And so since then I've met several men who have had breast cancer, and for them to feel comfortable enough to talk to me about it, because men don't usually talk about their cancer,
right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I feel like just the fact that people are comfortable enough to talk to me or to, the other board members, we need to raise awareness for that. So yeah, I mean, there's so many positive things, and when we started this ride 11 years ago, we had 120 riders, and I didn't really know anybody that had breast cancer. And since then, it just unfolded into what it is today, which is 3,200 people strong for the last 3 years. Yeah,
outstanding.
For the last 3 years.
That's crazy.
So,
And we don't take any money off the top. We pay for the event because I don't have that money just laying around.
Yeah.
right.
But and outside of that, all the money goes to to the grant recipients, or we donate money to other organizations as well. And we also offer free mammograms to women that don't have insurance.
That's fantastic. So real quick, I also want to touch on, because and I said this in your promo, I'm not sure if you got to see it or not, but you are an outstanding philanthropist for the motorcycle community. So you not only do Bikers for Boobies, but in the spring, I think that the first Saturday of Arizona Bike Week, you also do Peace Out for prostate cancer too. So you're really reaching the whole gamut with this.
Yeah.
And when did you start that?
I started that. I won Miss Arizona Bike Week in 2012, and I stood on the stage and said that I was going to have a ride for prostate cancer. And in that year, a lot of things happened, and I didn't have the ride. And I'm a person of my word, so I had it the very first day of Bike Week, which is it falls on Wednesday, and we started in 2013, and now it's getting bigger and more sponsorships, and we're branching out, and it's just I'm so proud of how that's reaching people, and again, the gentlemen used to come in and were very quiet, or they didn't want to sign up to get their blood test done. And now they are very open about it, so I feel like we're making a difference in that sense as well, on top of just paying for people to get their PSA test.
Right on. That's
very near and dear for sure.
And we'll have you back on when it comes closer to that, but I did want to touch on that so people know how broad your reach is. If people want to get involved with Bikers for Boobies, where do they go? What do they do? When is it? Give us the whole lowdown on it.
Okay. The ride is Saturday, October 19th, and pre-registration is over, so you can register the day of between 10 and 10 a.m., 12 p.m.
And where is that?
Harley Davidson of Scottsdale. And then our website is bikers, 4, boobies.az.org. And if somebody wants to check out Peace Out Prostate Cancer, that we actually have a walk, 5-mile walk, 1-mile run, and that's Saturday, February 22nd. And then our motorcycle ride, is April 1st. And you can go to peaceoutprostatecancer.org.
Well, we have links and everything up for both of those, but I wanted to.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
I'm so happy that we got this time to talk to you, because Jack's been telling us about you forever, and of course we love him. He's our brother, and
I love him so much.
If he says something's good, Jack's a good man. He's a good judge.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
absolutely.
And he knows that some of this has touched our families also. So
right,
absolutely. Like I said, meaning a lot just solely to me because of what we've gone through. I mean, it's fantastic to know there's people out there to support people like my mom and my sister Dina.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and when we do either ride, I ride and I wear my boas, right? And I sew my boas together for each color of the person that I'm riding for. Obviously, Peace Out Prostate Cancer is blue, but for Bikers for Boobies, because we help all different types of people with the different cancers, so I sew the different colored ribbons or boas together, so I have feathers blowing all over the place when I'm riding.
That's awesome. That's outstanding.
And Jack, he volunteers his time to MC for Bikers for Boobies every year, and I mean he's such a blessing, and he never asks for anything in return. He doesn't ask for his name to be posted somewhere. So he's just amazing.
It's probably enough for Jack to say Bikers for Boobies all year long. He gets to say that.
We all know how he loves to say, boobies.
Yep.
Boobies.
Right on. Well, listen.
And have a reason to say it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because he would just walk around saying boobies. We know Jack.
Yeah.
He's been repeating the same post, menage a trois, for a half an hour. I don't even know what the hell he's talking about.
I can tell you what it is.
Oh, that's right. I was supposed to ask you about that.
Okay, so I'll go over to their house, Jack and Diane's house, for a timeout, and so we were getting wine. Well, there's a wine menage a trois. So when Diane said that, he was thinking in his head, menage a trois, the three of us. And so when he got there and saw that it was the wine, he posted a video of, I think a live video of holding up the wine.
He must have been so disappointed. Poor Jack.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
Denied, Jack. Denied.
That's awesome.
That's the funniest baby he ever won.
He said he never drove home so fast. Oh, God. Well, listen, Shelly, I appreciate you being patient and waiting for us tonight. We were a little bit late getting to you, but we want to have you on again. Whatever we can do with the magazine, with Shop Talk, any of our social feed. I mean, Jack is tied in to be able to go live. Like, we're with you 100%. So whatever we can do, please let us know.
And I know I told you that I want to, I mean, not that I don't hold the Bikers for Boobies near and dear to my heart, but I'm going to be reaching out to personally get involved with Peace Out for Prostate Cancer, because as I told you, I lost my dad a few years ago to that. So we're going to make a concentrated effort to really work with you on that and see what we can do to knock that one out of the park for you.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And once again, thank you for having me on. I feel honored, and I look forward to seeing you, meeting you in person.
Absolutely.
Chris, I met you already, but
yeah, when we did the bike show.
Yeah,
right?
I can't wait to meet you.
Yep.
And I want an update after your event. I want to know how awesome it was.
Okay.
So make sure you send that on. I want to hear how killer it was, because I know it's going to be outstanding. And everybody, there is a donate button on the Bikers for Boobie website. Go click on it. $5 makes a difference.
Boobies.
Yeah.
Boobies.
Saying biker for boobie makes it sound weird.
Sorry. Whatever.
Yes. And, if I may say one more thing real quick. The people, the men and women that attend Bikers for Boobies that, have cancer or survivors, that's the one day that they feel like they aren't sick, right? And because everybody is just, you see men in pink tutus, pink beards. I mean, people get their outfits together a year in advance, and it's just a good day for all of those people. Yeah, it sure is. So it's pretty incredible to give those people that day for them.
Right on.
So,
well, the world more needs Shellys, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Proud to know you. Proud to know you.
Thank you. You as well. You guys take care.
We'll be talking to you again real soon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Shelly.
Okay, bye.
So, Mark, you still with us?
Yep.
I just want to hug her.
Right?
I do. I just want to hug her. Jack, you make sure you give Shelly a huge hug for us and thank her for all the good work she's doing for this world.
So we're actually a couple minutes over time, but we had something scheduled, and hopefully we can still get to them. This actually comes from the pages of the magazine. If you've been following, like every now and again, we'll have a column called One Man's Opinion, and from those pages, we let somebody from the industry write their opinion about something, then we bring them on the show, and we talk about it. So this is coming right out of the pages of the magazine. Actually, the current issue, right? That's out on newsstands now.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was one man's opinion from Patrick Garvin. It was a what was it titled? Bike shows. Our bike show's dumb. That's the subject matter. Our bike show's dumb. So we're gonna reach out to Patrick, but this is coming out of the pages of Cycle Source magazine.
Hey, man.
Patrick, I'm so sorry that we're late.
No, dude, this is no problem at all.
We've had I mean, it's been a fantastic show, but man, just everything got way out of hand, and like we just went on at the mouth, and here we are.
No, dude, I've been watching from the get-go. It's all good.
Patrick knows us. He knows we're usually late, so.
Well, we're gonna start this off. We're gonna start this off a little bit different because we had short notice of when we would have you on the show. Heather's actually gonna read the article from this month's magazine. It's also going to be posted on Cycle Source's website and Facebook and everything, so you guys can catch up to speed. But she's going to read it right now so that everybody knows exactly what we're talking about.
I'm a terrible public reader, so y'all bear with me. And excuse the RBF, I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, so again, these are Patrick Garvin's word. As long as I've been around motorcycles, mainly the cruiser industry, there have been motorcycle shows. You can't swing a dead cat anywhere across the country without hitting a bike show. Every local bike night has them, all the way up to the high-profile invited builder shows that draw people from all over the country. And from day one of seeing my first bike show, I didn't get it. I just don't understand the point. Judging is subjective. What I like may not be what someone else likes, so how is it even remotely possible to judge a bike show? A builder bike to their vision, and 3 or 4 random dudes are supposed to pass judgment on whether or not the machine measures up to some standard that isn't defined. And even if the standard is defined, who gives a shit? If you're building a bike, you should be building it into something you like, not for Instagram likes or a 5-foot plastic trophy. And don't even get me started on those rolling art projects, on if those rolling art projects actually run or not. Can we all agree that whatever you enter into a motorcycle show should actually be a motorcycle? 30 miles. You have to be able to ride that bastard at least 30 miles for it to be considered a motorcycle. These wall hanger bikes aren't really motorbikes. The base idea of a motorcycle is that you can go for a ride, and if your entry fails to be able to be ridden, you don't have a motorcycle, you have a paperweight. I can appreciate the skills and talents it takes to build motors, fabricate parts, shape metal, and paint bikes, and still not like the bike. I tend to have a purpose in mind when building a motorcycle. Generally, that purpose is riding it somewhere. Maybe there's a hidden purpose, though. The purpose of spreading the gospel of motorcycles to the world via good old-fashioned cool shit. And for that reason alone, I could get behind the idea of a motorcycle show, but not a typical judge show, because you shouldn't really give a rat's ass what somebody else thinks about your bike. I like the idea behind shows like Mama Tried or Michael Lichter's show at the Chip, or the general vibe of the Sportster Showdown at Camp Zero. They're more of a curated exhibition of badass builds and, just as importantly, a good hang. There are no judgments being levied or places being handed out. It's just, here are some really cool machines built by talented people who are passionate about motorcycles. The show should be about the appreciation of the medium and the builder's vision that hopefully inspires a kid to pick up a ratchet and a hacksaw and go cut up a KZ900 or an Ironhead Sportster, or scroll the internet for likes. Instead of scroll the internet for likes. You should look at a bike show and come away thinking, man, I want to win that show. I mean, I really need the acceptance, validation, and judgment from some crotchety duffer with a chip on his shoulder and closeted inferiority complex about his lack of welding ability. I want people to see rad bikes at a show and go home inspired to build whatever their heart desires. Build a D-Rake shovelhead stroker or a Rotax-powered trike with a Ninja Turtle paint job. Let your freak flag fly. And let me see the creativity. You do you, boo.
Okay, so
Wow.
the chat lines are open. We want to know already. We got tons of guys putting comments in. 100% agree. Paperweight, Golden Bolt. I like this show. Tons of comments coming in about this, but I have to say right off the bat, dude, I totally agree with so much of what you said. I do. And
yeah, what? knew you got where you would follow it. When I wrote the article, you guys, I don't know what people think about like how you guys and the writers interact, but you guys are super open to everything. And I wrote the article and I put that headline on there. I'm like, oh man, because you guys are involved with bike shows, but
we throw a bunch of them, yeah.
Right, yeah, and so there was a method to my madness.
Now, this is what I have to say right off the bat, and I'm going to tell you this first of all. Patrick and I are dear friends, and I don't dog him for his opinion. I wouldn't expect him to ever dog me for mine because he's not that kind of man. What I will say is, well, first of all, I have to tell you that Sportster Showdown does give out trophies. So
yeah, I do know that. Yeah.
But I think, and like you said, it's a much easier proposition when you're at something like Sturgis to throw something that's a more of a curated, everybody just gathering together and having a celebration of the motorcycle. It's easier. It's easier to get guys together for that. Depending on where you're at in the country and to throw a show like that where you're encouraging people to bring out those bikes, it's more for not as much of the $7 plastic trophy you're going to give someone, or even like in our instance where we take time to make a trophy. It's not about that trophy. It's not about that person. You want to acknowledge people for their work, but it's really about gathering those bikes together and having a place where people know they can come and see them. Yeah.
Sure, and that's kind of the point at the end. But I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I'm being kind of sneaky, and I have an overarching point. And what I really think is happening, and I think I said this on the show before, is like I have a real concern about the future of motorcycling, and I think especially in our corner of the industry and all corners really of the motorcycle industry, we operate in echo chambers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where we and that's and we're genuinely being positive to one another, but that creates kind of like a for lack of a better term, a circle jerk or an echo chamber.
Right.
And if you start those classes, my problem is with classes and that is that you're kind of, you then have people build for those. You get stuck. I want people to be completely free to do whatever they want with their motorcycles because I think we need to be there. I think a lot of younger riders are honestly kind of scared off by our demographic, so to speak. You know what I mean? As it's
I have to agree with you. I think that they are scared off. The thing that I have, the three things that I take out is, number one, is just you rate the guy that's judging that bike. I know something specifically about us in general after all these years. I mean, we're talking longer doing this than some people have even been on this earth judging these shows. The people, a lot of the times we try and pick the people that will diversely open their minds up to every aspect of it. So to pinpoint the judges in this is one factor. Then to go from something like Mama Tried to Michael Lichter, dude, that's two such opposite sides of this spectrum. They can't even be in the same room together. They don't even compete. There's not even a place for those two in the same room together. Two completely different sides of the world. You're judging classic, custom art pieces compared to, if you want my opinion on the outside, a bunch of dudes with 32 Stock Martins and all the same vest on. You know what I mean? So,
no, I don't know what you mean because I completely disagree.
The spectrum here.
I have no idea what you mean.
Good part.
I mean, to me, it's just motorcycles.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
to me,
I don't understand.
I think too, like to really.
Wait, I don't know where was I when I got lost with the one side to the other, because all motorcycles, the Lichter event are specifically built for that event, custom built to represent
to a theme, yeah, that's what he's saying.
To a theme, okay, yeah. I mean,
right.
Other than that, like, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I go to all those, I go to bike shows to look for cool stuff. Like, I really think we need to take motorcycles off the art pedestal, to be honest with you. We need to ride them.
Oh, listen, I totally agree about the ride part, but here's my part of it is why would it be wrong to limit any part of it? Like if you take all facets of this, if you start with the AMCA guys who have their 100-point criteria and like they take things on a vintage level to that place of seriousness, and you have, you know, the regional and the national judge shows, and you have the exhibitions, whether it's something like Lichter where it's built for a theme, or if it's just open freeform theme. Like what we're talking about here in the end is the same thing about wanting more inclusion. So I mean, I don't see any one of those things being bad in any direction. I mean, just like in the car world, you know, going from good guys to, you know, shitbox shows and rat rods and stuff like that. There's different strokes for different folks.
Sure. Yeah, and 100%. And I hope the more different, the better.
Right.
I think there's a place for each. For each type of bike show. I really do. Like when you come to a Cycle Source show, there's like 30 different classes.
Well, and let's not talk about
everyone, man.
Well, no, but then I was going on. But even then, the other shows like Mama Tried or Fuel Cleveland, where it is just an exhibit. I mean, I think there is a place for each one, and they all serve their purpose. I think for the ride-in bike shows, that's for the average guy who isn't going to get the invitation to Fuel or to Mama Tried, but is really proud of what he built.
Right.
And it's that outreach is important
and to
too.
Be one of the people that not only obviously with me and Chris who have built the bikes for the Michael Lichter show, but the trophy thing. I was one of the judges for the Sportsman Challenge, so. You know what I mean? Like,
and Mark yells at me all the time. Mark yells at me all the time for hoping that we get a trophy for one of our bikes. It's funny. He crucifies me, dude. He crucifies me.
I can't agree with you more on this because to me it's not the trophy. It's the camaraderie. Like I totally dig your whole point of this article. It's such a camaraderie. Such all them people and that song of guys and girls, kids, older people, and everybody laying their idea out on the table, but to class and and say one isn't as good as the other, to me is like, dude, that's so shallow.
Well, and here
everybody puts so much effort in that everybody deserves a big pat on the back for everything that they do to make this be an awareness thing.
Here's Rachel Stowen from Facebook. She says BC Moto build-off was a great example of what Patrick is talking about. There were also a lot of young build, it seemed. Magic Mike, Brock, some other cats I can't remember. Just kind of viewing super cool machines. And I, like I said, man, I totally agree. And if the average show had the kind of wherewithal to pull down, you know, serious bikes like Bill Dodge does, I mean, you know, Bill puts up a sign that he's hosting an event where it's going to be an exhibition. And just like Michael, you know, Michael's going to have his pick of amazing motorcycles, you know, but sometimes you want to see what's in an area too, you know, like what do you guys own here? We're in, you know, wherever, the Northeast, we're in Boston. What kind of bikes are in Boston? Let's have a show and see who's out.
Yeah, I agree. Like kind of the theme of the article, it should be about the hang, man. Like, just getting everybody in there, hanging out, talking about bikes. And like I said, I've said this a million times, you know, how I judge a bike is if I want to ride it.
Right.
And I love that about you. And at the end of the day, I think the one common thread here for all of us is the fact that if there's anything to point out that's a shame in all of this, whether it's the 100-point AMCA bikes, the regional judge shows, the invitational stuff, if there's bikes there that guys aren't riding, if you're building motorcycles and you don't get to explore the entire other half of what the purpose is of what we do, then you miss it all, man.
Yourself short.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, one of the worst things for me through this whole thing is, and Chris knows better than anybody, every time he says, hey man, let's go pick a bike, it makes me sick to my stomach. Because there's nothing to me worse. Nothing worse than having to find 2 or 3 bikes.
Oh my God.
Either number 1, 2, or 3, and then having to find something to critique and eliminate somebody. It kills me. Anything, and I'm with you, Patrick. I judge in my mind on what would be cool and I'd probably enjoy riding. Yep. But I'm not allowed to do that because, I mean, obviously, you judge something too. You're not allowed to do it because when it comes down, you have to do the best you can to pick the best person for the number 1, 2, and 3. You know, it's such a sad situation when you have to say, "Oh my God, I want to eliminate somebody, and I really dig their shit." You know, so it's horrible. The judging to me, I wish the judging didn't exist. In this situation, it's the only time you'll ever hear me say everybody that shows up should get a trophy just for bringing something to the table. You know.
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls.
Right?
You're killing
Although for me,
I truly believe that anybody that builds something cool enough, like Lichter doesn't give out a trophy. What Lichter does is give everybody the ability to bring the best they can and set it on that platform.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I like that.
Like that.
And I think that
So to me, I mean, like, no participation trophy. Trust me, I mean, I want to beat that kid up, but I agree. I think everybody that steps up on the table, hands down, should get something. Should get kudos at least.
Yep.
Right, and I think
son.
I think some of the ride-in shows, I think the trophies, at least in my mind, it's more of an incentive for those people who are proud of what they built to have the courage to come out and show it off. Like, and the one where I get really ticked off at bike shows is when people take it too seriously. Like,
and they want to fight with you and belly bump
and they
you at
want
the end.
so like you'll see on ours, no crybabies. If you're gonna be a whine ass because you didn't get a trophy, then stay home because this probably isn't the place for you. Because like sometimes it's not the most amazing motorcycle, but it's how the kid put it together or the story behind it that makes it so badass.
And if you take the time, like Patrick's saying, if you have the kind of show where it's not just, hey, pull in, we're going to judge these, 2 hours later we're going to give awards and everybody go home. If you're actually hanging out with people, you get to know about things. I like to talk to people about their motorcycles, and I want to know those stories, because that's how I pick them for the magazine.
There's nothing better than the dude. Nothing better than the guy that really puts forth the effort to let you know what all he did to his bike while you're judging it. That always makes me really want to give that guy some credit too. But it's
sometimes
the judging half of it. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, buddy, thanks for your input. I saw that. But it's horrible to actually judge somebody on their work. Makes me feel like I'm degrading somebody's hard work.
Well, the other part. The other part that you have to look at too, like this is what I try to do. I try to constantly remind myself, and Mark does bust my balls about being a trophy guy, but I have trophies from my whole time in motorcycling. Some for barrel roll and plank walk and other contests, and sometimes just places I've been. I've kept every press badge I've ever got. And I try to constantly remind myself when I was that guy on the outside of the fence looking into all this stuff, for me to take home a trophy that said like Easy Rider magazines from Columbus, Ohio's invitational show, that might be the only time I have anything that I'm bringing back into my garage where I do my thing, hanging it on the wall, that I was at a place and I was counted. You know what I mean? Like that's awesome. Yep. That stuff is cool too.
Hey, and for us a lot of times the trophies are the badges that we get for coming and being a part and participating in a lot of this stuff. Just like, like Patrick, I'm sure you've been through this enough to know the same thing. Like to leave at the end of the night after working your ass off all day long to put this on for a few thousand people that showed up to enjoy themselves, to me is trophy enough in all reality. You know what I mean? So,
a good turnout.
Part of the industry.
Getting people in front of motorcycles is, that's what I'm always going to be about. Is just getting more people on motorcycles and preaching that gospel. That's what I said in the article. Like if that's their ultimate goal, I think that's reason enough.
Yeah.
I do. I know you guys do this, Chris, and you're for sure in your Galveston show. I think you do have a minimum miles ridden on your show. Am I right about that?
For the in show, it's like this year it's going to be a 70-mile ride.
That's awesome.
You have to go through, and I mean that's there's 3 different levels of judges with 5 judges in each, and from each category that we set up the judging, and it's really heavy, and that's
like not a popularity contest at all.
And that's not how we do our normal shows. But even in our normal shows, man, like we put so many categories to make sure that like we're trying to cover everything that there is, and even like there's most shows we do, we'll take 10 or 12 trophies home with us because a bike didn't show up that fit that class. But, given credit for the stuff that's out there. And over the years, man, like I've taken some shit for giving out, the Asian import, the European import, the sport bike. For a while we had V-Rod classes,
I just love the 70 miles, man. I mean, I don't know. I know there's some drag racers out there that I'm talking about, but way back in the day, drag racing at the old Pro Star, the street bike shootout, they had to do, I think it was a 30-mile road course, and before you could run, you had to shut the bike off and then start it again within 30 seconds.
Yeah. So
I mean, that was to keep the street in street bike shootout. Yeah.
Right on.
I
So
was a part of the first ever flash race in Sturgis that actually did that. It was the first time HCRA put that forward in 1992, and we went out there with a street legal Sportster and beat 62 passes. We won 62 passes after a 50-mile ride, and that was like, for Harley, that was unheard of. So, that's like, to me, the same thing with In Motion brings that, the Golden Bolt brings that to the table.
Yeah, I love that.
And I'm 100% with you, man. That thing, you have to be able to ride that thing. You have to. If you can't, then you should just put it on a pedestal in your living room. It's not a motorcycle. It's a piece of art.
To me, something like In Motion, is what it's about. That's the pinnacle, because you're riding your bike, man. We're all going for a ride. That's part of the hangout.
Right.
Right. And for us, like, we changed it up a little bit because it's not only 70 miles, but it stops and starts. Like, you're going to have to get off your motorcycle. You're going to have to check in. You're going to have to complete the entire route. And then if it finishes and you finish the ride, then you can go on and finish the show. You're eligible for the show.
That's awesome.
But hey, man, even like in I got to say this, like, someone else just put up on social media, that competition breeds hard work. This was Drew Woodford, refining your skill and putting the extra time in. I mean, that's kind of how I look at, like, someday I have in my garage right now a 49 Panhead that I intend to put together as a gentleman's cut down, so I'm taking the time to collect the parts, and like, it's been years already that thing's sitting over in the corner, and it kills me not to just make it into a chopper and throw a bass boat paint job on it and haul ass down the road. But I have a goal with that bike. Like, someday I want to take that bike to a proper AMCA show, and in the back of my head, in a little way, I hope I get some kind of recognition for the years that I've spent trying to put that together to make it proper, so
you're never allowed to enter a bike show again.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the part that, like, I probably differ on. When I think competition, I think of a race. Like, if I'm building a motorcycle, I do get totally inspired by things I see off other bikes, or like, oh, that was really trick. But when I'm doing something like that, the only thing in my head is doing exactly what I want, not like, like, I'm not for some other reason. The entire thing is because of what I want, not any other outside influence.
Well, and I mean, for a little bit of that for me is because I already have a Panhead chopper, and it's bad as hell. I have a shovel.
You can't have too many of those.
But this one I specifically want to build to a period of time, and and I already know I'm going to be disappointed because the AMCA guys, they're not going to like what I build, because it's not going to be right, But
well, how sick are we? I have that same thing. I know when I'm done, I'm going to be disappointed, but I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it. I'll probably do it 3 or 4 more times.
Right?
Yep.
Well, that's why Chris is always like, he'll say for once, he'll be like, I think I'm going to sell that bike. He's like, I can't sell that motorcycle. I'm like, well, you can build another one. It's like, it's not the same.
No, but I'll tell you what, like, that the thing that I dig about what you say is through all this, like, if you guys don't follow Patrick Garvin on his escapades through social media or through what he does on Countersteer, like, my man is a riding fool. No matter if he's on the road, if he's on trails, like, he is an idiot for riding a motorcycle. So for him to come on and say, well, you have to be able to ride a bike to be a bike, that's no shit. Like, he means that through and through.
That's all I want to do, man, is ride motorcycles. It's the Biltwell guys, they nailed it. Ride motorcycles, have fun.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I want to do is ride motorcycles.
I mean, you just took time off from riding motorcycles to go ride motorcycles.
I did.
I
did do that.
That's awesome. Before I forget, you've coined my new favorite phrase.
Oh my God. I can't believe we didn't talk about this yet.
Broga pants?
Wait.
Oh, bro.
I want to put the social media feed so you guys can comment about this. This is, if you hear this shit somewhere else, Patrick Garvin came up with this.
It's Patrick's Broga pants. Dude.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So Broga pants are guys in skinny jeans, in tight jeans. That's his new thing for Broga pants.
Broga pants.
I nearly pissed my pants.
Dude, it's getting out of hand. Pants are getting out of hand.
Well, and they're getting skinnier and tighter. I'm like, I don't need to see that. Thank you very much.
No, they're straight up yoga pants with like pockets for dudes.
Right?
I mean, it's a yoga pants with a fly.
Yeah.
Is all it is. Like it's terrible. It's a definite broga pants.
You know we're getting old, right? You know we're getting old, right, Patrick?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We just
embracing it.
we just went to Penn State yesterday to see a performance from our daughter, and we're riding the bus around the campus. And I look out the window and I said to Heather, I said, "That poor girl," and she's like, "What?" I said, "Obviously a wild dog attacked her and ripped up her pants."
Oh, dude, I hate that too. That's amazing. Those pants are
is that the old John Bon Jovi called "Wants His Pants Back" girl?
Dude, it wasn't even John Bon Jovi. This girl had from her pockets down to her ankles, the entire front of the legs of her pants were missing. I was like, "What's the point? What's the point in having?"
Hey, I'll tell you, if they want them, though, I have a whole bunch of those for sale. So
yeah,
I have a stack of those that I will sell you if anybody's interested in a pair of those pants.
$380 a piece.
Right?
Bargain at that.
Yeah, right. Is that crazy? That's nuts. And they spend it. Yeah. Well, their parents spend it. Let's say that.
Yeah, broga pants. It's the thing.
So listen, I appreciate the conversation because this is exactly what you said. We do need to get out of the echo chamber. We do need to start having these conversations so that we can find out what's good about what we're doing and what's not, you know? And I mean, just from your article, like I can see us, you know, tailoring a little more what we do in our regular shows and stuff so that we try to make it a little more inclusive and a little less, you know, a little less of the bullshit, but maybe some other people will do the same out of that, you know?
I mean, and I want to say this too, like, you know, I'm clearly not afraid to run my mouth, but I am a personal freedoms guy. If that's what somebody wants to do, that's why we live in America. Go build a bike to get judge a motorcycle show. If that's what makes your world go round, do it for, you know, don't listen to me.
Just don't wear broga pants.
No, but that's why I said all that stuff about you at the beginning too. Like I value you as a trusted advisor in all of this, and you're definitely one of the stewards of where it's going next, and I appreciate that. Tell everybody a little bit. Let's talk about countersteer and what you've been doing now.
Yeah, I mean, on a larger kind of view of it, I really think kind of long form media, and I think you guys are obviously in this camp with me, I want to say it's coming back, but it's coming back. I think it's going to be bigger. I mean, there's only so much you can do in, you know, a quick Instagram post or a Facebook post. I mean, real content, I think, is what lives. People want it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So at Countersteer, you know, we're doing our best there to review products. I mean, write lifestyle pieces. We have opinion pieces, and just keep, you know, you just get free motorcycle information out there, or start a conversation. You know, I have guys come on there all the time and are not happy with me, and that's fine. Like a lot of them make points.
You got to do that. Well, you can't live in the bourgeois popular media place anymore, man. You know, like you gotta risk that.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not. It's not. You know, we're not doing stuff for likes. We're doing stuff just, you know, to have good info out there. Like I said, to start a conversation, and I love it when people respond, and especially, you know, if I'm wrong or they make a good point, because that just means, you know, my eyes are open to a whole other thing that I wasn't considering. So, yeah, man, the more content, I know you're in this camp with me, the more content, the better. The more stuff we can have out there, the better.
Absolutely. That's the only thing that's going to change this. You know, like we're constantly talking about, you know, how to reach out to the next customer, get more people involved in this. And like, it's not going to be from hiding in a corner and, you know, and telling each other great stories and patting each other on the back. We gotta make this bigger.
Yeah. And I mean, once somebody gets hooked, you know, they're hooked. I mean, motorcycles are awesome.
Yep.
Well, and I like the fact, and very much like Chris, that you don't say things just looking for the popular vote. You speak freely, you speak clearly, and you're okay with having a discussion about it. And I think, again, the world needs more of that. Chris speaks very little too freely sometimes, but it starts a discussion and people think. And I think for so long, people avoided that because they wanted the Insta fame and, you know, their hit count to go up.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. I have a saying that I'll put this out there. I'll give it away. I was going to make a T-shirt, but somebody feel free to make the T-shirt. Stop doing shit for likes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. Do what floats your boat. And then, you know, otherwise we're all going to ride or do the same thing or act the same way, and that's going to be boring.
Well, yeah,
So-
think about how boring it would be if everybody were on a black road guy wearing broga pants and a t-shirt. Like,
I mean, if everybody was on a black street glide with a bandana and a lot of yarn on their jeans.
Wait a minute, no. I want to go back to the T-shirt thing. I'm willing to go in on you on this with you for an order of these T-shirts, but I want to do one also that says the world is not Facebook and everyone here is not your friend.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Everyone needs to know
That's
that
it.
for sure. They should teach that in high school.
right? Oh,
All right, on man. What's next for you guys? What's next for JP Cycles or for you personally?
For us, I mean, we just got snow up here in Sturgis.
Oh,
so,
Jesus.
it snowed on Wednesday about 5-6 inches, but it was pretty much gone today. I was out hiking today in the woods. I'm gonna try to squeeze in another ride next weekend. I think we're gonna have 70s. So I'm just trying to get a couple more rides in, and then we're gonna hunker down probably for the winter up here. We have a couple builds with the chip again for some giveaway stuff. But I know I have to hustle through, but I should be taking delivery hopefully of a Milwaukee 8 Softail, and I have a bunch of stuff planned for that.
Nice.
Exhaust shootouts and things like that. So
right on.
Well,
I've been wanting to get my hands on one for a while.
hopefully we can get some of that stuff in the pages of the magazine too, man. I always love your contributions.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me run wild in there.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome anytime. You
So-
have the deadline scheduled for the next year. Don't screw it up.
That was brilliant on your part, by the way.
So go check him out. Like I said, you got to follow this cat because like just for his daily updates about where he's riding now or the shit that he's doing is worth the ticket to admission. But thanks, man. Thanks for coming on and thanks for putting your opinion out there. And I look for more people, man, like you guys in the industry that are listening to this. Let's have these conversations. Let's open the doors to the echo chamber and let that
Don't
shit
be
out.
shy.
Yep.
Don't be shy. Speak your opinion.
Thanks for the platform, guys. This is awesome.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon, Patrick.
See ya.
Dude, I was about to pull both of you off him for a minute. Jesus.
No, I love Patrick.
Well, but again,
He's our friend.
I wasn't attacking
He
Patrick
is.
at all.
I'm not saying he's not our friend, but on the other end of that, if you're going to say something like that, especially to people like us that judge bike shows, don't put me in.
Well,
Don't put baby in the corner. You know.
And you know what was funny too? Like he put a social media post up, and you could almost hear all of Instagram go. And I was like, man, you guys are funny. Don't take that shit so seriously.
I like Patrick, but I do like the fact that he's not afraid to speak freely and have a discussion about it. That's one of my favorite things about Patrick.
All right. We're a half hour overtime, so I want to remind you guys one last time. We're coming to you live through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio like we do every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with an episode of Shop Talk. 90 to 120 minutes of entertainment, guests, news, all the bullshit we can fit about two wheels and the lifestyle around it.
I think it's time to pull this train into the station.
I do too.
I'm coming to you live from a gas station parking lot just outside of Columbus. Just letting you know.
Mark's still coming in. So next week, we already have some stuff lined up. Robert and Xavier are going to be here from the newly announced Black Smoke Centers, playing in Galveston. We're going to have some of the builders on from In Motion. Mark, I think we're going to try to get Buck to come on, and we're going to do a recap about Tennessee. We're going to show some of the pictures and what you guys did down there. We got some video and stuff. Should be a great show, but we're still always looking for input from you guys. So anything that you want to see that we're maybe not covering so far, feel free to pass that along.
I have to back up real quick.
Go ahead, back up.
Pat Simmons was watching tonight.
Yes.
So did you see? He wants to do one. Guys that love motorcycles, music, and cooking. So that's
in.
you, Hav, and Pat right there.
Right?
That's the perfect.
I'm in.
Oh,
all right.
Cam needs 100th episode guest poll.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get a poll going for the 100th episode. And hey, speaking of polls, in short order here, you guys are going to be able to judge for the best ofs 2019 every January. If you're not normally into the Cycle Source magazine January edition, we're the only motorcycle publication that has done for like 15 years now. a year in review issue. We take one issue a year out of all 12 of the issues, and we look back at the year that was. We give credit to some of the people that stand out for, the work that they've done, the builder of the year, the man of the year, the woman of the year. You'll have a chance to vote on all this, along with the top 10 motorcycles that were featured in Cycle Source magazine this year. So look for that to come along through social media and our website real soon.
I think that's about it.
I think that's it. One more time, thanks to Choppertown for having Shop Talk on. Thanks to Mark for going through the extra effort to be with us for the show tonight, even though he's driving home from Tennessee. And to our guests.
It's all for the crowd. It's all for the people.
Right? Let's get one more shot of Mark.
Say something to the people. Say something about the album. Come on. Good. Go ahead, do it. I dare you.
I think when you consider the drill down effect of the aggregate and
all right. Good night. Say good night.
Good night, Gracie. Until next week. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for having us in your headspace. And until we can come back to you with another episode of Shop Talk.
We'll see you next Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
I'm freezing.
It always ends with some shit like that, He just hung up on us.